Thank you for choosing Proton products. In this video, we will demonstrate how to connect the Proton SLI4 gauge to the Allen-Bradley PLC. We connect the gauge to the computer over the RS-232, then run the PCIS software. So here we select the RS-232. COM2 is the port number we use. The default baud rate of the gauge is 115200, and then hit OK. We check the communication status between the gauge and the computer. At the bottom left, it says RS-232 communication OK, which is good. And then we click the comms button, enter the password, which is 65000. So 65,000. With the latest firmware, the communication bus type is switchable on the PC software. So here right now, it says the current bus type is none, which means that none of the communication is activated. So we need to switch it to Ethernet IP first. For the Allen-Bradley PLC, the Indian mode should be Little Indian instead of Big Indian. The Big Indian is for Siemens PLCs. Then change the iBus address here if necessary. In this sample, we will use a 111, so we don't need to change it. Then go to the configuration page to customize your data word list. To do this, right-click and select Insert. Then choose what you'd like the gauge to communicate to the PLC. So here we select the error, average speed, total length, good reading, and SNR. Here's a trick we use to select the data words. When you want to select multiple data words, you click and drag. So if the options you'd like to select are continuous, click the left button and drag down. If there's a break, hit the Control button so that multiple data words can be selected. If you've selected everything you want, hit OK. For these 32-bit data word, like average speed and total length, the lower word should be on top of the high word. You can see in these columns in the first row, the DW means the DW in the PLC. So data word 0 is error. And your PLC 1 is average speed low and 2 is average speed high. When you want to check out the definition of each word, data word 0 in the PLC is actually data word 1 in the gauge head. If you want to check the definition, it's 1 in the gauge head, DW2 of the gauge head, DW3 of the gauge head, DW6 of the gauge head, and so on. The slave to master is the gauge output in which a PLC input is the measurement value of the gauge. On the right side, you customize your PLC output, which is a gauge input. In the gauge manual, it is also described as gauge input messages. In this example, we will just use the reset. So we select reset and hit OK. Now the data words are selected and we hit send to gauge so that this configuration is now into the gauge. And we can hit exit. And we can hit exit. Now we need to recycle the gauge power so that all the changes we just made will take effect. So we just recycle the gauge power and then we run the PCIS again, just to verify the settings and make sure everything is okay. So password 65000. 000. So it says Ethernet IP, which is good. It says Little Indian, which is good. Then we go to data configuration. This all looks good. Now we open the Allen Bradley Studio 5000 software and go to File, New, so we can create a new project. We can put Proton SL I4 test. This is the PLC we use. Hit Next, and then Finish, so that it will create a new project in the studio. Now what we need to do is import the EDS file, so click Tools, and EDS Hardware Installation Tool. We can hit Next, Next again, and then browse to select the file. It was on the desktop, so then hit Open, Next, 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 and then Finish. Now we need to right-click the Ethernet node and then select New Module. Okay, so right-click, New Module. We put in Proton. This is the module we want to use. And then here we just put in the name Proton SL. So here we need to enter the IP address 192.168.1111. This is the one we see on the communication page here. And then here we need to hit Change to select the connection parameters. The name you select is Exclusive Owner, and these parameters do not change. For the size, this information can be found on the data configuration page when you hit Print. It will give you a PDF file. On the second page, it will tell you how many data words of inputs and outputs should be selected in the PLC. So here it says Ethernet IP, 14 bytes inputs, and 2 bytes outputs, single integer. So we go back to the PLC software and put in 14 and 2 as the single integer. Now for the program convenience, we should select integer. Once integer is selected, it will do the switch automatically. So the size will be half, which is correct. Then we hit OK and yes, and then we hit OK to finish the setup and hit Close. Now we can download the settings to the PLC. We select Who Active. We are using a USB connection, so then just download. Download again. Then set it to run mode. And then we go to the controller tags, and then go to the Proton SL input parameters, monitor tags. We see the numbers right now, nothing is moving, so it's 0. There's a good feature on the Proton gauge. If we go to the measurement page and type the password 63000, and we can turn on the simulation mode. so that the software or the gauge will send some data out to the PLC. So right now the gauge is giving 10 meters per minute of speed and 2.5 of length. We can see that the number is changing. So this is the speed and this is the length. If you want to change the measurement unit, you can change it here from meters to feet. So now it is 10 feet. Then to save time, we can open an existing project so that it has everything programmed in the project. And then we can see the speed and length calculations. Go to Run Mode, and then we look at the PLC program. So here is the calculation for length. We are getting 10 feet per minute, the good reading, and SNR. Now if we go to the measurement and we stop the simulation, we have 17.5. That's the number we got here, which is correct. And this one is to reset the length. So right now we have 17. We can see it here as well. If we go to toggle bit, it goes to 0. And if we turn on the simulation, we can see the speed, but we don't get the length because it is still resetting. So we need to toggle bit again to allow the gauge to accumulate the length. This sample program can be obtained from your Proton representative. Thanks for watching.